Okay. Am I having technical difficulties? No?
I'm having technical
Oh, okay.
difficulties.
As long as it's not me, it's okay. Because I can't fix mine. All right. So whenever you're ready,
Okay.
let's do the roll call and then move from there.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm trying to.
No, take your time. I'm just.
There we go.
It's not me. There you go.
Miss Bailey.
Here.
Dr. Cable.
Present.
Miss Coleman.
Here. Dr.
Davis. Dr. Henderson. Miss Lawson. Miss Lasers Talbert.
Present.
Miss Merricks.
Here.
Mr. Powell. And Mr. Taylor Gerald.
Here.
All right, you have 7 members present, which does represent a quorum.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, Rhonda. And thank you all who are here today. Appreciate, as always, we appreciate your time. The next we have the certification of the virtual meeting, and you all have seen that. And then moving on, we have introductions and announcements. And I know there were some, there we go. Who is introducing this new person?
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to welcome Shane Capel as our newest member of the Public Information and Communications team. He's our Collegiate and Community Outreach Administrator. And Shane previously worked at Northwestern State University as the Director of Fraternal Leadership and Civic Engagement. And now he's going to be our point of contact to establish and maintain more partnerships with our post-secondary institutions and the community, civic organizations, and the whole nine. So we're super excited to have Shane. He's a breath of fresh air, and he has joined the team. He's like family to us now. So welcome to Shane. He should be tuning in from YouTube, I'm sure, or he may be on here. Let me see if
Is Shane on here?
So he's probably watching from YouTube, but we're super excited to have Shane come on board. And that's all we have.
Okay, thank you. And welcome, Shane. Perhaps next time we'll let you introduce yourself more to us if you would like. All right, next is.
Madam Chair, I apologize that I'm late. This is Jim.
Well, Dr. Henderson, we're just always glad you're here with us. Thank you.
And listen, in honor of Shane, I just wanted to put on my mask today.
It's oh, there you go.
You might know Shane, Dr. Anderson.
He is he's a tremendous addition. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. And I had to say that, and I apologize for interrupting.
No.
That's
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
I'm just sorry you're just in the little small mode that I couldn't appreciate your mask.
Yes, and Chairwoman Coleman, Shane is on here. Shane, if you want to say a few words, you have the floor.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Thank you all very much for the kind words. I am very excited to be part of the LOSFA team, and I really look forward to working with our post-secondary partners and helping to create stronger connections with our community partners as well. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to say to Shane? Anybody want to say anything they'd like to say to Dr. Henderson for his mask? But we'll just move on. All right, next we have approval of the minutes from September 16th. I hope you all have had a chance to review them. And if so, then pardon?
This is Christy. I'm here and I'll make the motion.
Oh, well, thank you, Christy. We're glad you're here wherever here is. Where is here at the moment, Christy?
It is a coffee shop because I left one meeting and I'm going to another after here.
Well, please feel free to, get up and get yourself some coffee because you've been on the go. All right. So Christy made a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I second. Amy Merricks.
Oh, thank you, Amy. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approval of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good job. Thank you. Moving on, I think we have public comment next. Well, I guess that's all good. All right. Then moving on after that, we have program updates. And as first is Miss Underwood, I believe.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Start's been very busy with fall disbursements, but they are starting to wind down at this point. So right now, the team is gearing up for the end of the year deposit push. Also, UPromise has recently graciously offered a $529 scholarship to be given to a START account owner. This campaign will be announced by mass email to our account owners and will be driven by owner purchases for entry. So we're very excited about that they offered that, and especially to coincide with the end of the year holiday push.
Great. And any questions? Do you happen to know, Terry, where our 529 plan ranks? I know ranks in terms of what would be a fair ranking system, in other words, for the size of our state and the number of active accounts and whatever. I know it's an exceedingly good plan, but.
Right. That changes periodically, and I could certainly report back to y'all to get the most up-to-date numbers, but of course we're highly regarded for sure. So I can report back, but yes, basically we were recently ranked more especially because of the low cost of the program. So many of the programs charge what I would say are high fees to participate, and that's a big selling point. Of course, people are trying to get in the program that aren't Louisiana residents because of that. That's very attractive to them. So with actual numbers, I can get back with you, but I can certainly say that the program is highly regarded amongst our peers.
I know that. And would you tell me so in other states, if I wanted to participate in a 529 program, I would pay a fee?
Right. Many of them charge an administrative fee every year per account. Basically, the only charge that we have are the basis points that are, of course, paid to Vanguard. We don't realize any of that.
Yeah.
But the other programs do. They'll charge an administrative fee per account, a certain dollar amount, or some of them are even based on the amount of funds that are deposited into the account. So,
I never realized that. That's very interesting. No, the only thing that I'm still dismayed about is, and it's just enough people, grandparents, just don't take advantage of this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know that you could handle
kept
anymore.
secret in Louisiana. Unfortunately, the word doesn't get out as much as it should. But we're working on that.
Well, quite honestly, one of the reasons I take advantage of it is because of the tax break I get on my state income tax. That, and I really love my grandchildren. But moving on. All right, thank you. Anything else? Next one? Do you have something else for us, Terry?
No, that's all I have today. Thank y'all.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Next. Dr. Francis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get this. Okay, it's looking a little blurry to me. I don't know if it's just my laptop acting crazy today. Okay, now it's clearing up again. So virtual office hours and professional development, just to give you guys an update, I wanted to continue to do this every advisory board. Since we've transitioned to working remotely, we've conducted a total of 1,752 virtual office hours via Zoom. And this is with our public information and communications team. And we have a breakdown, and it's by TOPS initial eligibility, TOPS retention, student hub support, support with the counselors and administrators, and FAFSA assistance. So we also have the virtual events. Virtual events is a collaboration between our Field Outreach Services Division and Public Information and Communication, and that's a total of 607 virtual events that have been conducted. And to the right, I just wanted to highlight our members of the Public Information and Communications team We conduct professional development sometimes during virtual. There it is. It kind of cleared up a little bit for me. Virtual PDs. And so recently there was a federal student aid webinar that team members attended. So we wanted to highlight that on here. All right, Rhonda, you can go on to the next one. And apologies if I'm straining to read it. Is it blurry for anyone else or is it just my computer?
Blurry for me too, Brittany.
Okay.
Also for me.
Okay.
Myself as well.
Okay, well, let me pull up the one that I have on my other screen and I'll just kind of go off memory a little bit.
Rhonda, can you stop sharing your screen for a second and did you click the optimize for video sharing?
Yes, I did, but I'll re-click it.
But you guys do have the packet, so I'll still just tell you. We had 2 webinars. We had the professional school counselor webinar series, which was amazing. There was a total of 274 counselors who attended. And I just wanted to give a shout out to our student engagement team, as well as our field outreach services team for assisting us with the breakout sessions. And we had 2 parts. So for part 1, we offered a comprehensive overview of TOPS and just all things LOSFA programs. And then part 2 consisted of our initiatives, LCAM and FAFSA information, and the support that we're, the resources that we're going to continue to disseminate to students and parents since the FAFSA opened October 1. And then over to the right was our TOPS retention seminar. We held virtual seminars in partnership with Northwestern Financial Aid Office for their students to receive more information about TOPS and other scholarship support. Rhonda, you can go on to the next slide.
Hold on, Brittany. I'm having some technical difficulties. I apologize.
Okay.
Is that the next one?
Yes, this is the next one. So we had our fly tour once again, which was super exciting. We conducted 4 virtual fly tours from September 22nd to the 23rd, and our advocates shared personal stories from their experience while they were in college, and also some advice and tips, and just, you know, a tremendous amount of resources to help students create a plan for their post-secondary journey. You can see some of the screenshots from our admin from different colleges and universities. So we're super excited and thankful just to continue to be able to like extend that collaboration with those institutions. And we love their energy when they're on Zoom with us, with the students. So representatives from Northwestern State University, Delgado Community College, Louisiana State University, Southern University Baton Rouge campus, as well as Louisiana Tech joined the tour. And we decided to host the fly tour in conjunction with National Gear Up Week. So, you know, our Field Outreach Services Division and Louisiana Gear Up program, they were highlighting different themes throughout the week for Gear Up Week. And so Wednesday was behavior and leadership theme. And then Thursday was college and career exploration theme. So we tailored the script and all the resources to those themes just so that we can all tie in together and that we were streamlining that support for students. So there was a total of 3,895 students who attended through Zoom, and 223 viewers were on YouTube this fall.
Anybody have any questions? Those look like fantastic numbers to me.
Thank you. My last slide, I pray that it just shows so clear and beautifully, because I wanted to just personally thank Treasurer John Schroeder for his support with our START program and just for agreeing to shoot the video to highlight College Savings Month. September was College Savings Month, so just highlight the program and why START is so important. So Rhonda, please play the video, and this will be my last slide.
Hi, I'm Louisiana State Treasurer John Schroeder. Your kids are settling into another school year, and college is getting closer and closer. And we all know how expensive college can be and what type of investment that takes. As your state treasurer, it's my job to help the state and you save money. Have you heard of the 529 College Savings Plan, or what we know as START? Louisiana has a college savings account that allows you to save money for upcoming educational expenses, tuition, fees, room, and board. It's important to plan for the future. Saving now means borrowing less later. It's a great gift for your children and your grandchildren. Visit startsaving.la.gov to learn more about Louisiana's 529 program.
Thank you, Rhonda, and thank you, Chairwoman Coleman, for the floor. I'm done.
Thank you. Where might I would see what would I have had to have been tuned into to see Treasurer Schroeder's advertisement?
So
Where did that play? I'm just curious.
We have it. We sent it on social media. We sent it out. We have it on the start.la.gov website.
Okay. Yeah.
And we sent it out through our emails support. Trying to think of where else we sent it out. I believe that may be it for now. But this is a video that, since he didn't specifically say College Savings Month, we're going to be promoting it wide scale.
Yeah.
Over and over.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Dr. Francis? Okay. If not, we'll move on. The next one, the student engagement update.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Definitely glad to see all of you present.
Oh, there you go.
And if we can start the first slide, Rhonda, we have some awesome updates to share with you from our Student Engagement Division. During the month of September, thank you, Rhonda, we held joint network group meetings with all of our individual network groups. Again, just to remind, our three premier groups that we've been engaging with have been students from the engineering and accounting and nursing disciplines. We held joint sessions during the month of September because of the caliber of our guest speaker. We were privileged to have with us Dr. Sandra McGuire, extraordinaire professor. Well, she once ran the Academic Success Center at Louisiana State University, but very well noted presenter, out things about metacognitions. How do students learn? And so we were privileged to have her to present to our students. In that combined joint session, we had 37 participants in our network, students representing LSUE, Southern University, UL, Sowella, 2-year SLCC, of course, and NSU, Dr. Henderson, and Southeastern. So with that being said, as we focus on what our students are needing to succeed, we were very intentional in scheduling this particular presentation 1 month into our students' academic fall studies as requested by Dr. McGuire. We ran replay of these sessions in our standing individual group times throughout the month. And as you can see, one of the students responded very affirmatively to the information received, stating she had a great time, appreciated the service brought to her. Networking is greatly needed for online students, and she felt that it really benefited from the information shared. Next slide, please, Rhonda. As we move forward on to what we want to update with you guys, during the month of September, we also had another reach back from our LHC group partner. Again, this is a collaborative that's still in formation. However, we were unexpectedly received a second call stating that the extension of internships that they gave for our nursing students, they want to avail that same opportunity to our accounting students. And lo and behold, during this month, one of our accounting network alums, unfortunately, because of the job market, he was released from his new job, but was quickly redeemed by an offer from LAC Group. And so we're excited for that, just showing the relationship that can be built and is fostering between ourselves as a state agency and our community partners, most notably our employers. And so we're looking to continue that. Discussions are being held with them regarding the IT and computer science field as well. Next slide, Ron. This, we've already presented to you the outcome of a survey that we did very early on with the inception of the Student Engagement Division. And this is just a confirmation of these numbers. It's a part of your package, so I'm not going to embellish anything other than we listened to our students. You've seen these numbers already in previous updates. This is just a collective. We were privileged to collaborate with our new data analysts and who compiled this Boolean analysis of that survey. But what stood out again and reaffirming, our students are needing to be connected, not beyond the email communication, but the texting. And so this survey just solidified our agency's decision to upgrade in one of their tools that we're using for communicating with our students with the Calendly registration platform, which we've launched, and we've received some positive connects, just greater assurance of students remembering the meetings that they've already registered for. So if nothing else, the numbers that's showing here, it just further confirms the direction that we're going as we continue to build this model of student engagement through our student network groups. Rhonda, the next slide, please. This particular student shown here, when I saw last week, many of our staff at LOSFA participated in the National College Access Network's National Conference, which was held virtually. You all probably have seen the student presented before through a Field Outreach's update. He was tapped on the shoulder to do a in-can video. What was breathtaking was seeing that video played repeatedly throughout various sessions of the in-can conference. Not only was that student first tapped because of Field Outreach's Gear Up Schools connection, now that he is in post-secondary persisting, he is now a very active participant in our nursing student network group. So definitely want to show how access through completion and hopefully moving forward as he continues his matriculation. The next slide I'd like to move towards is some other updates that we had, updates in September, events that we participated. We received multiple invites from a local hospital in St. Landry Parish to present information about our nursing network group to students that were being oriented in their clinical phases through hospitals from various colleges and two-year programs. So Officers General extended an invitation to us to present to those students that you're just seeing those schools that are represented, the Delta College, ULL, SLCC, LSUE. And we're seeing the impact and reach there. Again, the intent is to make the student engagement networks available to them as they so choose to participate. As Dr. Francis shared, student engagement was privileged to assist the PICCOMS division with their professional school counselors training. She gave you the aggregate total of attendance, but through our breakout sessions, we were able to impact and engage with 118 professional counselors with student engagement and our network group information. One of the other events that we were excited to partner with our SG, Scholarships and Grants Division, they held a completers webinar to share information about the completers grant with our various institutions. Mr. DePaul will give more details on that. We presented and was able to engage with 83 persons on that event. I think I have two more slides. They're pretty much one and the same, just an announcement as we have coming up. Let me backtrack. In addition to that completers webinar, we are already in discussions with our PICCOMS partners to discuss an event targeting our students, making sure our students are aware of the Completers Grant. So we will be working with Shane in that endeavor as well, to continue showing the collaborative vein that we're trying to move through with this division of engagement. Our connector and student network specialist, Dr. Bruce Craig, is partnering with Thomas from Field Outreach and working with Dr. Cobb on their models that they've had in successful Connect to Success events. So they're preparing for an apprenticeship event the week of November 15th, I think, coming up, will be held an event on the 17th. But that week of November 15th is nationally recognized as Apprenticeship Awareness Week. So we will be partnering with some other partners, with the Department of Labor and Louisiana Workforce Commission on this event, targeting our secondary students. Next slide, Rhonda. Thank you. The next slide, it gives a description of what this event's purpose will be. If you can progress to that next slide, which will be my final slide. It gives an outline of what the apprenticeship event will attain, some of the goals of building awareness around it, what are the supports that are there, the advantages of taking advantage of such opportunities, and what wraparound services are there. So just some announcement. We look forward to reporting back to you the outcome of this particular event and others. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Somebody needs to refresh my mind. Why is it, or how is it, that the groups were chosen as nursing, engineering, and accounting?
Yeah, sure. We shared it early on that these were the groups that the Board of Regents recognized as the disciplines being more rigorous study, and they were experiencing challenges in retaining students in these fields. They're also high demand. So how do we create and support those fields that are in high demand? That's where we focus on that. In January, for the spring semester, we've already begun, our student engagement division has already begun to prioritize 3 more network groups that we're looking to launch. And once we've solidified those, we'll share. But that's how those initial 3 were identified.
That's very, very interesting. Thank you very, very much. Any other questions? If not, we'll move on next to the, I think we have outreach services. Dr. Cobb, there we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so next slide, Wanda. So last month, I shared with you some highlights of Carroll High School, some of the outstanding work that they've done. And this is a follow-up. So the Louisiana Department of Education actually featured the counseling team at Carroll High School. So this was like really an extension of the great work they're actually doing. And our on-site school coordinators pictured there in the middle. And if you see those shirts that they're wearing, so everybody who's graduated, we are really excited about our, year. So, the graduates for this year, they are 2022 graduates. So this is the official Carroll High School shirt where they're saying that they're 2,022% done. So they're really done. So we want them to finish strong. Last month, we talked about all of the initiatives they're doing there. They had the LDCC week, the ULM week, and they're keeping it going, wanting their students to finish strong. So there's some outstanding work being done across the state, of course, with our counselors, but this was a highlight of our Gear Up and Field Outreach Services School, Carroll High School, and we're really proud of them. And we're proud of our regional coordinator, Summer Clark, who actually works very closely with that school. So I wanted to bring that up this time. On the right side of the slide, you see this is some really awesome news for the Gear Up community. NADCAC has a fee waiver. So many of you may know that October is Louisiana College Application and Access Month. So what does that mean? We're encouraging students to complete applications this month. Earlier if they could, but definitely we want them engaged in completing their applications this month. So why is this NADCAC fee waiver important? Because this waives fees at many institutions. What we're reporting today is that on this form, our national partner, NCEP, has worked with NACAC to include a category for Gear Up. So if students are actually enrolled in a Gear Up school or Gear Up program, they specifically or qualify for this fee waiver, or that's one of the categories on the fee waiver. So we were really excited about that. That was a really big win. It was timely because it actually, this actually happened before Louisiana College Application and Access Month. So we wanted to update you all on that as well. Next slide. Yes. Next slide, please, Rhonda. So this is an event that we were, just really proud about. So Terra High School, one of our Gear Up and Field Outreach Services schools, actually did a parent-student college tour. So the 3 schools that they actually traveled to visit were Northwestern State University, Louisiana Tech University, and GSU University. So these are students who are located in the southern part of the state here in Baton Rouge, who were actually taken to the Mr. Henderson, Dr. Henderson is saying all good choices. Yeah, though. Yes. So this was amazing. It was a great participation by our parents. So it could have been one-to-one parents, but we had 46 parents who actually went with their students on this tour. Some highlights of the tour. The first stop was NSU. The interim president, Dr. Marcus Jones, he addressed the group, and he actually engaged the students from the ELL families in their preferred language, and shared some of the support available to them in their preferred language. So that was a highlight. In addition, Natchitoches Mayor Ronnie Williams, he actually shared his vision of hope to the students to becoming future students at NSU or any other institution that they wanted to go to. They actually participated in many presentations from all across the campus at NSU. And they actually gave them like a fee waiver early. So they gave them a fee waiver. So if they actually filled out the application, they would actually get a fee waiver early. So that was another one of their incentives. And they had a tour of their esports facility as well. The next stop was to Louisiana Tech, where they actually spent time in a dining hall. And many of us know that that's very important to a student if you're staying on campus. What is actually happening in that dining hall? So they were able to eat lunch there. And from there, they actually had a greeting from Dr. Les Geis. And then they had many department presentations. And their final stop was at GSU. So they actually, Dr. Danny Hubbard, who is our Connected Success coordinator there, he actually welcomed the parents, and they did these breakout sessions there as well. The students, one of the students' highlights of that tour, they actually were able to visit the mass communication area and explore sports journalism, and they were actually able to use or to see in action the broadcasting equipment, and they really like that. So definitely want to appreciate all of our coordinators at our institutions, Louisiana Tech, Northwestern State University, and GSU, because they really did an awesome job with our students and our families, during this tour. Next slide, please. Okay, so last year we talked a lot about Workforce Wednesdays, and so we are very proud of the partnership that Louisiana Delta Community College has with Louisiana Tech, because they extended it this year and they did it really early. So they actually in September hosted Virtual Career Expo. So not Workforce Wednesday, but the same concept, because it was not only on Wednesday. So we actually had over 4,000 registrants for this event, over 200 educators registered for this event. And these are all the amazing business partners who actually took the time, gave back reached back to the schools, to secondary and post-secondary students to say, hey, we're right here in your backyard. These are the job opportunities that are here. We want you, and connected those opportunities to programs of study at Louisiana Delta Community College and or at Louisiana Tech. I was able to sit in on the session that AmCor actually presented, and I was absolutely always taken back, but definitely at this one, the gentleman who presented actually asked the students, you know, what do you want in a job? Basically helping them to understand the importance of, you know, looking within and saying, you know, understand yourself and what do you want in a job, and how to really connect with employees in terms of what they are offering. So I thought that was really good. And on the right side of the screen, event highlight, we hosted our first parent-student career fair, and Dr. Francis and communications actually helped us with the name. We called it Career Connections, and we had 411 participants at that event. This was actually during Gear Up Week. We had 4 breakout sessions with our students and our parents, and we had 2 guest presenters. So we had a gentleman from the Workforce Commission, again, like Ms. Malvo actually spoke about. He talked a lot about apprenticeships. So he gave a lot of insight on, you know, the power of apprenticeships. So that was really good. And he talked about other initiatives from LWC, and also state civil service actually did an amazing breakout for us. And the gentleman there, he was very instrumental in helping students and families understand just the whole array of jobs that are available at the state level, and how you actually apply for those jobs and the education that's required. So really trying to help students, you know, connect the dots and know where to go to get this information, students and families. Next slide. And finally, September, we had our Gear Up Week activities. This is kind of like a collage of some of those activities that were held on the campuses around the state. As you can see, this is the theme. Timothy Thomas, our youth advocacy specialist, she organizes this every year, and she works with our national partner with these themes for every day. And so these are some of the themes, and our students, you know, definitely did Louisiana proud on a national setting in terms of how important Gear Up is to the communities, especially here in Louisiana. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? I would like, and not necessarily at this particular moment, but first of all, kudos to Dr. Henderson and his schools. I know many other states, campus tours are arranged through associations, and it's a matter, parents sign up and the kids come and visit. I don't know, and maybe this is a new trend, I don't know who put together starting at the high school and the high schools visiting the 3 campuses. But that is just a fantastic idea. And I suspect out of those 74 students, many will end up at those 3 campuses.
We just think it's so important for students to see firsthand where they can be, where they can end up going. So many students that we serve have never been on a college campus, and I think it's surprising to a lot of folks. And it opens up a world of possibilities to them when we can bring them on campus.
And Dr. Anderson, maybe it just strikes me as quite innovative that it's organized by a high school and students from that particular high school and their parents going up to these 3 institutions. Whoever, I think, because you're getting the kids, they're in their groups with their friends and the parents in there. And I've never heard of that before. I'm sure it's done, but I just kudos to you all, because I suspect of those 74 students, many will end up going there to those 3 schools.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
This is Suwan. This is part of larger initiatives that I want to make sure our advisory members are aware of. Dr. Cobb did a phenomenal job of presenting this, but want to make sure, some of you may have seen in the business report today, the article about, you know, higher education institutions are not are not preparing students for the jobs that actually exist. The entire reason that we take state match money and put into the concept that we developed several years ago called Connect to Success. That partnership is actually a contract that we have and this is a part of our Gear Up program, but we have state dollars there, which means students that are not in a Gear Up school can actually experience this as well. The whole concept is to provide using the expertise at higher education institutions, connecting to students in high school to provide experiential learning, which we very successfully moved to online during COVID, tying that experiential learning to, if you really liked this, if this was really great, that match and fit is okay. These are careers that are associated with what you really like to do, but let's go further and tie that to, these are post-secondary institutions in your area that actually offer the courses of study in that, tying that to dual enrollment that is supported to be able to say, okay, let's validate that match and fit even further, tying that to connecting to business and industry for not only the job shadowing and the presentations, but as Dr. Cobb reported on earlier this year, we are actually now beginning to see those internship opportunities for some of our high school students. So when you take the power of Gear Up and the power of us making that bridge, right? This is what allows that to happen. And then there has to be a handoff, right? So that when those students do go into post-secondary institutions, who's there to support them? Enter our student engagement groups, which is, again, same kind of thing. Connecting you with business and industry, connecting you with people in the field, connecting you with internships. So our grand plan here, right, is to really strengthen that pipeline, that handoff, and to be able to get students to and through. So hats off to all involved with this. So Dr. Cobb, did you want to add something as well?
You know, I was going to say that we you hit the nail on the head with this, Dr. Boutte. So as we start really early with students, both state funded and federally funded. We start as early as middle school. So we start as early as middle school with identifying what helping them to identify what their interests are, and specifically and intentionally helping them to connect with programs of study. To actually know, okay, which institution actually has that program of study. And from there, that's where these actual post-secondary visits that we really want to be coupled with, as Dr. Boutte mentioned, experiential learning and campus visits. So actually, the part that I didn't say as it relates to the this particular tour, these students were actually divided. When they actually went to the and parents, when they actually went to these actual colleges within the universities, they were divided based on their own interests, and that was done before they actually signed up. So they had already done some match and fit activities at the school to determine, okay, so when I go to these institutions, which programs of study am I interested in? So getting there, they already knew how to break them out to go into these groups to be even more intentional when they were there. So nevertheless, that's what I have. Thank y'all so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you answering my questions. Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right. Moving on to Ms. Paul, scholarships and grants. Update, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First slide, Rhonda. First slide is our Bessie Tuition for Teachers billing update. We usually fund about 8 teachers during the fall term for this, but so far we've only received billing for 3 teachers for a little bit under $2,000 who will be attending courses related to STEM curriculum. Our GOLD grant, as we know, has a new allocation of $40 million, the highest in program history. Our billing deadline started after the 14 class day, and we know many of our campuses were delayed in reaching the 14 class day because of Hurricane Ida. So we've only billed so far, and that's as of last week. We do run gold billing every Thursday night. So that number will definitely go up after tonight's billing. And we are in contact with the schools, reminding them of their allocation and our November billing deadline. Next slide. John R. Justice, that is the program where we fund student loan repayments for full-time public defenders and prosecutors. So we're waiting on 2 additional public defenders to give us their information so we can fund that amount, as well as 2 prosecutors so that we can have our, we have 1 public defender remaining because we have 5 awards, and we have 10 prosecutor awards, so we have 2 remaining. So that will finish up our award for the 21 year. And we have our new funding amount, which would start January 1st. We start taking applications for the new year. So some of them have access for extensions basically till they get their taxes done. And that deadline, I think, was the end of September for extensions. So we should be finishing those up pretty soon. And then our Go You Challenge are for those students who were formerly in the National Guard Youth Challenge program. So we've given out awards at 4 recipients at 3 schools for the $10,098. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right, thank you. Our TOPS update, Mr. Hunt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ronnie, can you advance the slide? Thank you. As of now, we've received $8.1 million less in TOPS invoices than we received at the same point last year. We have a net of 3 universities that had billed last year but haven't this year, and 3 fewer technical colleges. 3 of our 4 biggest universities are showing a small decrease in invoiced amounts compared to last year. That's LSU Baton Rouge, ULL, and Southeastern. And Louisiana Tech has a slight increase. I'll keep an eye on out for late arriving invoices from those schools, especially Southeastern. They're showing a 12% decrease in their initial fall invoicing, and we all know that they could easily be having some administrative issues storm related. So
Right.
So I'll keep an eye on. The early indications are that we have sufficient funding for TOPS this year. It's way too early for me to tell you that there's going to be a lot of excess, but it's a lot easier to give money back to the legislature than it is to ask them for money.
Yeah.
So we'd rather be in this both in than where we were last year, knowing at this point that we probably are going to need around $2 million. Otherwise, I'll keep an eye on things, and next month's update should tell us a little bit more about where we're going to end the year. As of right now, it looks like TOPS is probably going to be only slightly more than it was last year, which means that we should have a little excess. But once again, it's a little too early to make that call for sure right now.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Hunt? Okay, moving on. Next is Executive Director's update. Dr. Booty.
Yes, good morning. Rhonda, you can advance the slide. Wanted to give you all a sneak preview of a new partnership that the Commissioner, with the support of the Treasurer, that we have entered into for a pilot for a program called Earn to Learn. Our plan is for Kate Hoffman, who is the person that has started this particular program and is also working at the federal level to get legislation passed for matching funds for this program. Our plans are to have her speak at the November meeting to the advisory board, but we definitely wanted to maybe give you a little bit of background so that you would know what questions you would have for her in November. Basically, the approach that Earn to Learn is for limited to income students, right? Because they have to be Pell Grant eligible. The student has to, in other words, put skin in the game. They have to save a portion of their own funds. They must save $500 per year. That's deposited into our 529 account. And for that $500 investment, it is matched on an 8-to-1 basis, or $4,000 for the year. Earn to Learn scholars also complete required financial education coursework such that they can access those matching funds to pay for expenses related to cost of attendance. They also must access success coaching, which includes financial training, college readiness, career readiness. And this is in an attempt to be able to do several things. One, to create a culture of savings in a group where when you look at 529 programs, they're highly underrepresented. Two, to create that wealth, generational wealth of building and investing culture. Three, to say you're investing in yourself, because in my opinion, that's the only investment you really control the return on. And four, to be able to provide financial aid to be able to limit loan debt for these students. Earn to Learn is getting this program started in Arizona. Kate Hoffman is one of the founding persons with this. And it also has a business and industry component where they partner with business and industry to get job shadowing and internships, which most of you know from me, that is my heart of hearts, to say, if we are not doing those things with students, and we're not creating relevance and opportunities for them to test out, match, and fit, we're doing them a disservice. So this is very exciting that Louisiana will be participating. Our participation is predicated at this point in time on the 4-to-1 match. That 4,000, part of that is expected to be put up by the state, and we are going to use, our plans are to use need-based aid to do that. The other part is put up philanthropically. And so Kate Hoffman and that Earn to Learn organization are now working with foundations to be able to gain that philanthropic match. If and when the federal legislation passes, the idea is that that match will then come from the federal government as opposed from a philanthropic resource. Next slide, Rhonda. All right, here you can see, like, why are we so excited about this? Well, when you think about when legislators ask us, what are the success rates, matriculation rates of Pell Grant eligible students? They're not generally that great. When you look to the left, this program has been around for a minute, for over a decade. And this public-private partnership, look at the statistics for Earn to Learn, most definitely outperforming any numbers that we have seen by a significant margin. Again, the 88% matriculation beyond that first year, 80 to 87% on track to graduate. Again, not being cream because 63% are first generation students, 83% are BIPOC students, Black, Indigenous people of color, 57% STEM scholars, all of the things that we say that we are about. So what we did in the packet was to put the commissioner's letter of commitment for you as individual, some more information, and also the Earn to Learn legislative overview. And again, we look forward to having Kate speak to us at our November meeting, along with Philip Qualls of the Treasurer's Office, who is the first person who actually brought this opportunity to me in an email saying, hey, this looks like something that LOSFA would be interested in participating and partnering on. And then we went with discussions with the commissioner to see if she would be amenable to Louisiana engaging in this partnership. Rhonda, I think that's it for the slides, but advance next. Okay, that's it.
It's great.
Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Yeah, we're
Anybody
very
have any questions? That's very, very exciting. Hopefully things will go well at the national congressional level.
Yes, before we transition, let me just add one more piece of information about the timeline, because at the time we published this, we were still working with Kate on that timeline. So tentatively, students would begin to be recruited for this program in the summer and the fall of 2022. Students that are recruited for the program and are interested would have to establish 529 savings accounts no later than February, March of 2023. meaning that those first awards for those students to that first cohort and the recruitment of the second cohort would be fall of 2023. So we do have a runway here. It will coincide kind of with the launch of MJ Foster. So again, seeing that braided funding and increased opportunities, but this time with this particular program with just-in-time supports. I am informed by Kate that students that are Earn to Learn scholars will be able to take this award to any institution, because Earn to Learn is going to work with LOSFA to be able to provide the just-in-time supports and the financial literacy. And I have specifically asked and said, hey, that's great, but definitely we would want our LOSFA staff that's involved in student engagement and outreach to be able to shadow your staff, such that what we learn about your secret sauce for Earn to Learn scholars should then be applied to MJ Foster completers, any other scholars that we are working with, because that's where we're headed, is towards what makes the best case practice mix for college access and success. And that's where we need to put our dollars. As they become more scarce, right? We have to have the ability to say, this sounded great, right? We serve this many students. What significant difference did those services make? And we are launching this week our contract with Vela, a nationally renowned organization who is going to be working with LOSFA and our division directors and our data teams to be able to start gathering the data on, but what are we doing that's making the biggest differences? So very exciting times.
That's very informative. Thank you. And you said we'll be getting more information and learning more about this November.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, our
that's
November
wonderful.
meeting, Kate, is scheduled. We've already asked her, and she's confirmed, and Philip has confirmed that they will be available to speak with you at the November meeting.
That's great. Thank you very much. Questions? I'll look forward to that. Okay, moving on then, we have a new business, the extension of COVID-19 circumstances rulemaking.
Everyone.
Morning.
So this morning we ran a query and we have had 113 students request COVID exceptions thus far since July 1st. Given that the Delta variant is still around and we still have a lot of students still requesting exceptions, we feel that this exception should be extended. The original rulemaking set an end date as fall of 22. So right now, or fall of 2021, which is this semester. And we feel like it needs to be extended through the summer of 22. And that's what this rulemaking does.
Okay, Robin, refresh my memory. These students that requesting exceptions are, how are they phrasing that, or what are they saying? Is they're not enrolled? Is that what they're, because they don't learn well online, those kinds of things? I can't remember well.
Yes, we have a lot of students who do not do well online, particularly students with learning disabilities like dyslexia or ADHD, ADD, those type of things have difficulty with online environment. We have students who either have been diagnosed with COVID or family members have been diagnosed with COVID and they are just unable to focus. We still have a number of students who unfortunately do not have the internet access to be able to attend online.
Do all of the higher education institutions allow for a student to attend in person and or online?
From what we have been hearing, some courses are offered only online.
Okay.
Some courses are offered in person, but we also have a lot of students whose particular course of study does not lend itself to online learning, so they would have to go in person, but they have a family member who is very susceptible to COVID-19 and would have serious complications if they did contract it. So they're afraid to go to campuses. So it's a combination. Some students have more than one.
So they are not enrolled at all. So that's what that is what they're asking for, an exception to being continuously enrolled. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Some are requesting to not enroll at all. We do have some who enroll and then contract COVID and are unable to do the work because they are sick.
Do we, for the ones, and I was just thinking about this, for the ones that contract COVID, is that if this person contracted another disease, they would get a medical exception, right? So COVID's not falling outside of that.
Yeah. We have a lot of students who requested based on, hey, I got COVID, and we do track those as temporary disability, just like we would for other students who got sick. A student gets bronchitis, or, they get mononucleosis, or, we do have students who are diagnosed with cancer in the middle of their post-secondary education. Those are classified under the temporary disability exception. We usually, when we initially put these into the system, we put it in there as what they request. And then we review the documentation. And a lot of times in the committee meeting, if it is that the student has become ill or the student is caring for a family member who has become ill, we will transfer that over to the temporary disability exception.
Is there a time limit for how long that they can be not enrolled?
For this particular exception, we did not put a time limit on it. Okay. For other types of exceptions, though, we do have time limits. For example, students who request temporary disability, the maximum number of semesters that staff can grant consecutively for the same illness is 4 semesters. If the student needs a 5th or 6th, for example, the students who have cancer, sometimes they need that 5th, 6th, 7th. In those cases, those would come to you and then to the Board of Regents for approval.
Okay, that's helpful. Others may have questions. I was just trying to kind of see if we can get an idea of what we might be looking at after this thing. After you get through the summer of 22, then 2022, then where are you as an agency in granting exceptions to these kinds of things? Does anybody else have any questions or comments before we entertain the motion?
Marion, this is Jim. I think what she's getting to is just the discrete nature of this particular virus. It is different than just about anything we've had. And part of it is because of a couple of things. One, long COVID is a real thing. And so we have a group of students that may be even mildly symptomatic, yet are suffering from the effects of this disease for months, if not longer. So that's something we're gonna have to take into account, because the science is not settled on that and how you deal with that. The other part is the implications for those who live with those that might be immunocompromised or in danger of infection. And I just applaud LOSFA for the staff for understanding that, for being out in front of that, and for putting the needs of students first, as we always should, students and family in this pandemic. It's something we haven't dealt with in over 100 years, and I'm grateful to them for being so empathetic.
Yeah.
And at the appropriate time, I'd move to approve.
Okay, and so Jim, what I hear you saying is that an institution, looking this from the perspective of your schools, they're also working with the students. The student is would withdraw from your institution and then would re-enroll, or how does that work at the institutional level?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the circumstances. So they've had to massage processes, because as these things, as the policies and procedures are developed, they typically aren't developed with this in mind.
Yeah.
So, so they have to adapt that to the needs and the realities of the circumstances. We're accommodating students. We're also accommodating faculty. And so there's circumstances where you might have a class that should be taught in person, but it's such a specific discipline or specific subject matter that you only have one faculty member that is expert or qualified to teach that class. And yet that faculty member would be immunocompromised. And so there's so many moving pieces to this that our schools have had to develop new processes on the fly. Again, putting the health and safety of students, faculty, and staff in the community at large as the highest priority. Everything else follows that.
No, I agree, and I appreciate your comments. Does anybody else have anything to say? Any questions? Okay, if not, I think I heard Dr. Henderson make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
A motion to second.
Thank you, Amy. It's been moved and seconded to approve this rulemaking. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That's great. It's been moved and seconded, and that's adopted. Okay, next. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the TOPS exceptional circumstances. This month, we have one request for exception for you. This is a case where the student relied on her advisor to help her get enrolled in appropriate classes, and at the last minute, things did not go as planned, and the student was enrolled part-time. So she is asking for an exception to the requirement to remain enrolled full-time, or to enroll full-time for spring 2021.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the exceptional circumstances.
A motion to approve.
Second.
And Rhonda knows who you were that made those other. Okay, thank you.
I think it's Miss Merrick's and Dr. Henderson. So
yes, ma'am.
I was giving others an opportunity to get their names in the minutes. Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Okay, so we have made that. And next we have public comment.
Andrew, have we received any public comment?
No, I haven't received anything.
What do we do if someone says the public comment? I assume the person makes the public comment, but it's probably necessary. Would that person be live, or would that person have made a written public comment?
They have
Either on YouTube. If it's on YouTube, it's live. But if it is previously submitted, it would be on the website.
Yeah, they would have to write it up on the website.
They would have to write it up, and then it would be officially read into the minutes of this meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it would work.
That's great. Thank you. But since we haven't practiced that, it's just trying to keep up. Okay. Is there anything else?
Just before we adjourn, just so it's on y'all's radar, our next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, November 10th. That's scheduled same time, 10:30 a.m., but it would be on Wednesday.
And we're going to have the people from the Earn to Learn.
Earn to Learn.
That's great. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, this will be the last chance for some of you in today's meeting. We're at the adjournment. Can I have who would like to make the motion to adjourn? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
We stay in the meeting forever.
I was trying to give someone else a chance.
No, you try to get your name in the minutes. I learned that early on in my career. Get your name in the minutes. But all right,
it's Christy. I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second, got it.
And this is Charmaine. I second.
Thank you, Charmaine. We appreciate it. All right, we are officially adjourned.